All commands typed on the command line or executed on a command file are either commands built into the interpreter or external executable files. The set of built-in commands is quite small, which determines by the basic concept of Unix. The system should consist of small programs that perform fairly simple, well-defined functions that communicate with each other via standard interfaces. A rich set of standard utilities is a good old tradition for Unix-like systems. The shell and the traditional set of Unix utilities is a POSIX standard. As we discussed earlier, we have different branches of development of Unix-like systems with the different types of utilities. BSD-like, dating back to the original Unix implementations. System 5 based systems and GNU utilities. Some command syntax was changed by Unix Software Laboratory with the introduction of System 5. But on most commercial Unix, a set of older commands was still included for compatibility with earlier BSD-based versions of Unix from the same vendor. GNU utilities often combine both syntaxes and add their own enhancements to traditional utilities. And now the GNU toolkit has become the de facto standard. Executable files on Unix-like systems don't have any file name extensions requirements as they do on Windows. The utility executable can have any name, but must have executive permissions for the user who wants to run it. Standard utility can have options, argument of options, and operands. Command line arguments of programs are mainly parsed by the command line arguments of programs are mainly parsed by the get_opt function, which actually determines the form of the parameters when the command is invoked. This is an example of utilities synopsis description. Utility in the example is named utility name. It is followed by options, option arguments, and operands. The arguments that consist of dash, hyphen, minus, character, and single letter or digit, such as unknown as options or historically flags. Certain options are followed by an option argument as shows with the C option argument. The arguments following the last options and option arguments are named operands. The GNU get_opt functions support so-called long parameters, which start with 2 dashes and can use the full or abbreviated parameter name. Option arguments are shown separated from their options by characters, except when the option argument is enclosed in a square brackets notation to indicate that is optional. In getOpts, long options also may be used the equal sign between option and option arguments. When a utility has only a few permissive options, they are sometimes shown individually as in the example. Utilities with many flags generally show all of the individual flags that do not take optional arguments grouped as in this example. Utilities with very complex arguments may be shown as follows. Arguments separated by vertical bar notation are mutually exclusive. Alternatively, mutually exclusive options and operands may be listed with multiple synopsis lines, like this. Ellipses are used to denote that one or more occurrences of an operand are allowed.